When I came to faith as a heroin shooting, LSD using hippie rock drummer at the age of 16 in 1971, I didn't know what apologetics was. And for some years after that, I did not hear the term apologetics. And if I heard it, I thought it was some type of apologizing for the faith. So I want to assume I'm not the only one that made that same mistake and somehow thought apologetics was apologizing for what we believe or some sign of weakness. No, the concept comes directly from Scripture. The Greek word apologia is a defense, is an answer. So if you were defending yourself in court, false charges come. Here's my apologia. Here's my answer. Here's my defense. And the most famous usage of this is in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15, where Peter says, in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord, and always be prepared to give an apologia, an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have, but do this with gentleness and respect. Always be prepared to give an apologia, to give an answer, to give a defense. Paul speaks in Philippians 1 about being in jail, being persecuted for the defense of the gospel. Here's what we have to understand. Apologetics serves two major purposes. Obviously here, 1 Peter 3, we want to have an answer. Why do you believe that? That's crazy. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes the Bible. Nobody. That's contrary to science, contrary to reason, contrary to morality, whatever it is. There are many religions. There are many ways to God. There's no way we'd believe that. We need to have an answer to help the non-believer. And if we can't answer their questions, why do you think they're going to listen to the rest of the message? Well, Jesus changed me. You're just going to have to believe me. So I talked to a Muslim, and he talked about being changed. I talked to somebody who came back to Judaism. She talked about being changed. I talked to this Hindu, and he seems devout. It's like, why should I listen to you? Well, I know. No, we have to do better to engage someone's mind to get them to stop and listen long enough to then hear the rest of the message so it can be pre-evangelism or preparing the way for the rest of the message. But also, apologetics is super important because it builds up believers in the faith. I had to pull myself up on my own bootstraps, bombarded by rabbis and Orthodox Jews and objections and counter-missionaries as a new believer, not even knowing Hebrew then. I had to study and learn. The reason I wrote a 5-volume series on answering Jewish objections to Jesus and endless hours of apologetics since then was so that no other Jewish believer would have to go through what I went through, that they would have the answers ready. And I've run into many who said, Dr. Brown, I'm in the faith today because of you, meaning I was a believer. I was falling away with questions. I read the answers and it strengthened me. Let us strengthen the believers so that we know we have answers, and then we can go to the world and give the world those solid answers. Apologetics is crucial, important, especially in this day and age.